plan today is I decided to take, as you can see, it's a gorgeous day down here, 2.5 hours away. It's supposed to be just as nice. So I've decided I'm going to go spend the night on the boat. But normally I have a 24-inch LED TV that I can take with me, which is next to me at the moment, and I can watch, Netflix, stream it off my phone or whatever. Today I decided to give the batteries a little bit more of a workout. I have two GC2 golf cart batteries from Sam's Club in the boat, providing somewhere in the neighborhood of 205 or 210 amp hours worth of juice at full capacity. So when you knock down to, they say don't bring them down below 50% or whatever, so still got 100 and some odd amp hours. So I brought my desktop back there. So we're gonna stop at the store on the way up, see if I can't find a power inverter that will power this thing, and we'll see what kind of juice we can suck out of the batteries before it gets filled back up. It's not it's like a 750 watt power supply. It's not like it's a monster by any means, but it's a decent computer for what it is. So we'll see if the power of the inverter. I'm not going to go spend $1,000 on a high-end 5,000 watt inverter. I saw a gentleman on YouTube that had a similar computer rig as mine, and I think he actually had a bigger power supply, which obviously doesn't mean much if the computer's not using all that power, but and he was running it off the same inverter that I'm hoping to find today, which is only a 750 watt continuous, 1500 watt peak, which I've read the reviews. People are running small 6 and 7 amp power tools off these things, so I'm thinking my little desktop ought to be just fine, but we'll find out. He didn't seem to have any problem running his, so I'm gonna go find one, see if I can get it, and see what kind of shape we can make my night into. Hopefully the weather cooperates during the day and we can get some good sailing in. I bought myself a selfie stick. Yes, a selfie stick. And I didn't buy it for the sole purpose of, having a selfie stick. I bought it as a $5 cell phone mount that I could basically duct tape anywhere I want to hold my phone in place if I want to take videos or whatnot, because it's a little bit harder to do in the hand and so forth like that. This way it'd be a whole lot easier to actually just, if I wanted to take video of me sailing or whatever, I could just slap this somewhere, tie it down, whatever. I'll put a rubber band or something around the phone just so the spring doesn't let loose, so my phone doesn't go flying, because yeah, that sucked. But so I bought that, so a couple things. I'm hoping to get some playtime out there. Hopefully the weather is decent, not too crazy. I mean, crazy's not bad, but I just prefer relaxed today. Weather nice, sunny. It's beautiful down here, a little bit cloudy, but that makes it a little bit breezy, which would be perfect if I was on the boat in the middle of the field, but that doesn't really work. So anyway, that's the plan. Buy inverter, go to boat, go on boat. Well, go to boat, make sure my cooler's on the boat. I lost my cooler. I don't know what I did with it. So go find a cooler, get some ice. I think I got another case of water on the boat already, so I can get that chilled up. Grab a few snacks and whatnot, and go out on the boat, and we'll see how it goes. Alright, so I got my stop at the store done. That was good. Picked up a cheap pair of binoculars, so sweet. Got them here finally for the boat. I'm 40 minutes away from the marina, and I just realized that I left a key to the boat in the other car. Yep, so my progress is going to be slowed slightly. I have a feeling I'm going to need a new lock for the boat. Always something, right? So the plan is to take that desktop somewhere and somehow make it work in here. I stopped at Harbor Freight and I picked up this wonderful little power inverter, 750 watt, supposedly continuous, and then 1500 watt peak, so we'll see how well it works. Here, I'll give you an unboxing of it, because it takes a whole lot. That's it. Nothing too fancy. The inverter itself, you got these little covers on it. 2 full plugs, USB port, on-off switch. And then you can hardwire it. The only thing I wish I had, and that I don't see it has, that I wish I had a place to mount it. It doesn't really have any mounting options, like no screws to mount it with or anything. But that aside, it does come with, I don't know how long these are, but it comes with a pair of leads. That are zip tied together. Why wouldn't they be? Oh, they're zip tied together, but they're twisty tied into a bundle. And they won't be for too much longer. And if you remember, I'm not left-handed, so there we go. So it looks like about 2 feet long. But we've got connectors for the battery, or for the unit here, and then just some halfway decent battery post clamps. I don't like them. I mean, you're going to put this around the battery post, it's not going to give you a whole lot of juice. I mean, it's not like a lot of surface area, which kind of bugs me. If I had heavier wire, I would just run the wire straight from this. As it is, it's probably going to sit back in a ways, and then I'm going to run it, and my power cords will come out. I mean, it'll sit back in there because the batteries are under my butt, but there should be enough room, I think, if I put the tower down there behind the step. Monitor, I haven't figured that out yet. The TV, I mean, I know I can run that off my other inverter, but there's no point in running this thing off more than one inverter, so I have to lay the layout out and see how far I've got of reach to get to this inverter and how much I need. I might need to go get an extension cord, or at least a power strip. I was hoping not to have to do that, but I might not have a choice. But that's the plan, so we'll see how that goes in a minute. Alright, even though this thing is horribly inaccurate when it comes to size. So the plan is, we have to make this hook up to something so that I can run the computer and the TV and all that stuff. Now the cables that come with this thing are yay long, 2.5 feet. They are nicely finished at the end. You slide these out. You know, very handy to have. However, they're only this long, and my batteries are way under there. From here, they're a good 6 feet that way. That's not going to work for me to be able to keep. So I figure this thing's going to come sideways, which means the inverter would be sitting way back there, and then I'd have cords that may or may not reach all the way, and it's just going to be a pain. So instead, I'm going to extend them a bit. More cheating. And I went down to the local gas station and bought a set of jumper cables, which, oddly enough, so, yeah, kind of say 8-gauge power cable. This one doesn't actually say 8-gauge power cable, but they're both the same thing. Clamps on this aren't any better than the other ones, but this way I can basically, the idea is like this. 1, 2. Because I really don't want them. Now, the other thing that I happen to buy, which is hiding, there they are, I picked up some more crimp connectors, which, as luck would have it, I'll be able to put on the ends of these, and that way I have a much longer lead. I'll be able to put the inverter up pretty much out here, and it'll give me range to put the monitor up on the desk, the computer wherever, and I'll be free to use it, you know, keyboard on the desk, on the table, like normal. And so that's basically the idea behind all this, was just to get that going. That's pretty sad. My crimpers don't even go down to 8-gauge. I don't even know how that is just ridiculous. That's was just ridiculously stupid on the part of whoever decided to make these things. What we're going to do is we're going to do this old-fashioned way instead. This jacket is so soft on these. I could probably do this with my fingernails alone. All that insulation for that tiny wire. That does not look like no 8 gauge wire to me. That looks about like 16 gauge wire to me. Oh, how about that? 16 gauge 8 feet wire. So, I guess it's not exactly the same as this stuff. I'm not even close to the same as this stuff. New plan. I'm still going to go ahead and crimp these suckers on there, even though now I don't need those. I'll be able to find some smaller connectors. I'm still going to hook them up. I'll try it. I mean, I don't expect this thing is going to draw that much amperage where it's going to be that big a deal. If I can even find any smaller ring terminals. This is why you never just throw stuff into a box. Those will work. 10, 12, maybe. You would think I'd have had some smaller ring terminals, but apparently not. Anyway, I'm going to use them anyway. I'm going to try to use them just to see if it'll hold enough amperage on this inverter to run the computer. If not, I'll rearrange my thought process and see what happens. That's what I get for not shifting the package around. Basically what happened is this was in the package, but where it actually says the gauge was covered up, and I couldn't read that it only said 16 gauge. Quite a bit disappointed in that, actually. I guess that explains why they were only $10. I am going to try to double up on my connections, only because and now I have to shave insulation. I'd like to title this video, How Not to Wire an Inverter Up to a Boat. This is why people say plan, because when you don't plan, you do dumb stuff. So on top of leaving the key outside of or from the boat, not here, and buying the wrong connectors, no, the wrong cables. Oy. My dad will have a field day with this one. On a bright note, there is plenty of wind outside. Not that you can really tell from in here, but there is plenty of wind out. I saw a couple other boats in the bay, which means that once I get off my rear end here and get out in the water, I'll have some fun to play around with here. But I want to make sure all this works before I get out there. I'd rather do this now and know it's going to work. That way, if there's any question whatsoever that it's not going to work, I can cut my losses now, put stuff back in my car, and not have to worry about kicking it everywhere and stuff like that. This will go on there just like that. Again, I really wish there was... God, this thing is... I do wish there was a, like I said, I wish there was a better connection, or a better what's the word I'm looking for? I wish there was an actual mount for this, instead of just strapping it down somewhere, which I guess is fine. But I do wish there was an actual mount or something for it. I wish there was. I mean, for this thing was $35. I mean, it was on sale at Harbor Freight, and then on top of being on sale, there was also a coupon online that dropped this thing down to $34.99. So that wire's already coming undone. So we're gonna undo these. I'm gonna find some electrical tape, and we're gonna tape the hell out of this thing before we get too far. Even though it's low amperage cable and junk like that, I'm inclined to not be trusting anything at this point. I also bought a $3 tarp so I can throw it over the boom and make a boom tent out of it. I also bought a clamp, and this is because the selfie stick that's holding my phone right now, which is already got me out of the picture, I can actually clamp wherever I want, you know, around it, and make basically a mount. Apparently that's all I bought from Harbor Freight. I did buy binoculars, little 10 by 25 jobs, something or other, I don't know. Wasn't really paying that much attention to it. They were cheap, they were $10. And I didn't have any binoculars on the boat. And I got sick of not having binoculars on the boat. Now I have binoculars on the boat. We have to go down there. Fun stuff. That's where the batteries are, is that way, and hang it right. Right about now I'm wishing I had a flashlight with me. For now, have to make do with a lantern. A very dark lantern. We're not going to make do with a lantern. Alright, well I guess I'm just going to crawl back in there. Hope for the best. I'm going to hook up the inverter first out here, only so that way these wires don't touch each other as I'm hooking the leads to the battery. I don't want a chance sparking when I'm under there and can't get out. That just seems not smart, I think. Would be the word I'm going for. I really have no logical way that I'm running this, just so you know. I don't know why I got the wires crossed like that. I guess so I can sit more or less like that. I'm going to put pause on this video because I need my flashlight off my camera so I can see what I'm doing. Otherwise this shit's going backwards, so I'll be back. Alright, so behind me I have my keyboard set up, I have my mouse, and I have my monitor. And below me I have my desktop. Everything's wired, everything's plugged in, everything's just kind of sitting here at the moment because when I'm going to be on this thing I'm not exactly worried about, you know, what it looks like. So first thing we're going to do is turn the inverter on. Nothing blew up. We're good. I'm going to turn on the monitor. I have power. You can close the hatch and we'll get some shade in here. Now you'll see it says no signal. Well, you might not see it says no signal, but it says no signal. Now, we'll turn on the power supply button on the back of the computer. And now we're going to turn on the computer. I have juice, I believe. Apparently, this inverter will not power my laptop, my desktop. Now it may be because of the wiring. It may be just simply that my cable is not strong enough at that 16 gauge. Which means that now my next thing I'm going to do, since that didn't work, is let's try to turn the computer on without the monitor. I think what's happening as soon as the video card starts to actually fire up, that's what's killing it. So I don't know if it's a power thing because of that, or if it's the cabling not being strong enough to support the inverter with as much amperage. I'm actually shocked that my desktop, this is not really that big a desktop. So hopefully it's just a cabling thing. So I'm going to stop this. I'm going to run the new cable, which puts the inverter way the hell back there. It is going to be a mess, but we'll try it. We'll see what happens. So we'll be back. All right, so what I've done is just kind of have it dangling in there at the moment. But I ran the straight 8 gauge wire to it from the batteries. Now I'm also using the clamps. I don't have it actually, they're clamped to the post. They're not actually hardwired onto the post. But I figured this should, if anything, at least let me know. So, power on. Let's hit the button. We're spinning so far. And any second now, it'll probably scream at me. Any second now, it'll scream at me. It's not screaming at me. Alright, well, if it's not screaming at me, then let me set you down for a second. Let me hook everything up and then we'll try again. Slightly different vantage point this time. Only because I don't have enough length on my power cords to not have everything running out the window like that. But either way, it's still doable. It's weird sitting on this side. I feel more claustrophobic on the back side of the wall, but that said, we're going to power up the computer first. Ready? Where's the power? Okay, we got juice to the computer. What I want to do is I want to power up the computer first and let it settle in. Then I'll power up the monitor. And we'll see how that works. So now we got the monitor on, like so. We are rocking all over the place. No signal, but that's because I didn't plug the monitor in. But power-wise, we're good. And should be right about like so. And see what we get. Look at that. It is possible to run a 750 watt inverter with a desktop computer of decent caliber in a boat off of batteries if you use the right wire. I thought I was being smart with my jumper cables and I didn't read, which made me an idiot. But as you can see, we have my Windows 10 startup screen. I didn't bring speakers, which is probably a good thing at this point, but I do have a Bluetooth adapter in my computer, and I have a Bluetooth wireless speaker, so I may end up seeing if I can get that to work. My phone that I'm on right now making a video will run a Wi-Fi hotspot to the computer. I have a Wi-Fi adapter in the computer, so that I can actually get online with it. Right now, not happening, just because I'm on the phone. And I just wanted to see if it would actually power up first. So now that I know it will power up, I'm going to unplug everything after this fires up and I can shut it down properly. I'm going to button everything up, unplug everything. We're going to catch some wind. It's hot in here.